another episode of 3 bucks, 2 bags, 1 me. This episode is coming out a little bit later than the other ones just because I've been so caught up in preparing for auditions and heading to New York. I finished my audition for the Locked and Landing competition, so that is all sent in. Now I'm mostly working on getting stuff together for graduate school. So I've been filling out a lot of applications and essays, and that's been fun. But that should be out pretty shortly. And speaking of college, I really wanted to use this video to talk about a really fantastic program that I think a lot of people should know about. It is Fordham University's Summer Musical Theater Intensive. It's what I went to back in early May, and I went there from May until about June, and it was seriously life-changing. So I kind of want to talk about what the whole program is about and the classes you'll take and the teachers you'll meet in case there are people who are thinking about applying to this really great program. So here we go. First, you'll take a dance class. I took a dance class taught by Natalie Lamonte. She is a fantastic choreographer. She was so nice and welcoming, and she really made it accessible to both beginner students and also advanced students within the classroom. We spent most of the class choreographing 2 pieces. The first was a lyrical piece, which we ended up performing at the end of the intensive with her friend who was a beautiful violinist, and it was so much fun. So we worked on that. And we also choreographed a musical theater dance to the Money Song from Cabaret, and that was a lot of fun. We got to both sing and dance to the Money Song, so it was really cool how we also kind of developed our characters within the dance as well. Not only did we do both of these dances, we also learned about basic stretches, warm-ups, basic dance moves, and so it was a really all-inclusive class. As a beginning dancer, I was a little bit nervous going into it, but she really did make you feel really welcome. Second, you'll be taking a vocal techniques class. Ours was taught by David Sabella, as in played Mary Sunshine on the revival of Chicago, vocal coach extraordinaire, brother of Ernie Sabella, the voice of Pumbaa. They're just such a talented family. They're so wonderful. And David is truly a master of the voice and how to get the best out of your voice. We spent the class mostly learning about different warm-ups, how to extend your voice into the different regions, including speak tone and kind of getting into your coloratura. He would kind of give us 4 different genres of music that we then had to get songs for that we would then perform for him. And he would give us tips on how to make our voices sound better within that song or connecting to your character. So we did things like classical, golden age, contemporary, and also rock pop, which is really cool. In case you're doing auditions for jukebox musicals like Beautiful of Carole King or Jersey Boys. And David is so amazing. He could spend about 2 minutes with someone and already you would see a humongous change in their vocal technique. And the entire class was like this. Like, you know, you would see these changes with each student that he worked with. So even if you don't take this intensive, if you have a chance to take a class with him or get into his vocal studio, I would highly suggest it because he is an amazing teacher and he can make your voice absolutely astounding. Third, you'll be taking an acting class, and this one was taught by Julie Boyd when I was there, who was an amazing director and acting coach. Within the class, we worked on things like improv, scene study, character study. Our biggest project was we had to do a scene into songs. We had to get into groups, and we had to choose a musical theater scene that kind of led into a duet or a 3-person song, depending on the situation. And Julia was really amazing about getting you to really connect to your character, like what is the background of your character? What do they like to have for breakfast? Like, what is their family like? So things that you don't normally think about when you're going into an acting role. You know, you really have to delve into the psyche of your character so you can really connect and show your understanding of that character while you're performing. You know, I'll never forget when 2 of my friends were working on a scene from Spring Awakening, and the connection they had to their characters in that moment was absolutely astounding. You know, something just clicked, and the performance they did was just heartbreaking and amazing. Julie's also the director and the organizer of this entire intensive, so she's like the fairy godmother that makes all this happen. She was also incredibly kind about giving some of her extra time to work on monologues that people wanted to do for auditions. Julie also arranged for actual professionals in the field to come and talk to us in the class, so not only were we learning about acting in the class, we were actually having professionals from the outside world come in and give us tips and tricks, and that was really, really amazing. We got to talk to a casting director, we got to talk to a director, we got to talk to Jason Tam. So it was really amazing that Julie was able to provide that for us. So she was always just really supportive and caring about making sure that you had the best experience while you were at this intensive. So Julie was just absolutely wonderful. And last but not least, you'll be taking a musical theater workshop, which for me was taught by David Loud and Mana Allen. both of whom were in the original production of Merrily We Roll On with Stephen Sondheim. David is an extremely talented arranger, pianist, conductor, musical extraordinaire. While we were there, he was actually conducting and arranging for The Visit with Chita Rivera, which we actually got to see while we were in the intensive. You know, David is just so perceptive and intuitive. Like, while you're performing, you can kind of see the gears going inside his head as he tries to figure out how to get the best out of your performance. He also kind of has like this aura, like, you know, he wants you to succeed. He wants you to be the best that you can be. And at the same time, you want to make him proud. And secondly, we'll be working with Mana Allen, an amazingly talented actress and teacher and mentor, and she also works at the Lincoln Center Public Library where she does a whole bunch of their exhibits, and she knows everything about musicals. You could be singing a song and she'll be mouthing the lyrics as you go because she literally knows all the lyrics to almost every single musical theater song ever. She's just so intuitive, and she really gets you to kind of think outside the box. She tries to add like a different twist to a song you wouldn't think of the first time. At one point I was actually singing I'll Tell the Man in the Street from I Married an Angel, and she had me kind of look at it as if I was a person who was obsessed with someone and was kidnapping them, so kind of gave like a little evil twist to this character that wasn't in the original musical. And I performed it with one of the other people in the intensive, and it was a lot of fun. It was during one of our first weeks of the intensive, and it was the first time I really opened myself up to something that was different. She kind of helped me to open myself up to new possibilities within my performance that I hadn't thought of before. And if David is like the dad of Musical Theater Workshop, Mana's like the mom. She's just so caring and supportive and kind, and she's just absolutely amazing. And during the time for Musical Theater Workshop, each and every week we were given a different song that first we would have to learn as a monologue. And so we didn't learn any of the music that went along with it. We just performed as if we were doing a scene. And then we would perform in front of David and Mana, and they would give some tips on our acting. And then we'd have to go out and learn the music and then come back and sing it with the acting. So they would again give us some more tips as to how we can improve both the singing and the acting. In this method of kind of learning the song as a monologue first, I've heard people doing it before, but I never really had a chance to do it myself. And I have to say, it was really astounding the results that you would get while doing this method. I found that I learned songs much quicker, I connected to my character more, and I really understood how I should move each lyric because I had studied the lyrics so intensely. What was really amazing was that at the end, each week they'd given us a different song from a different era, so we went from early, like Pal Joey, to Golden Age, like Oklahoma, and then finally to about Stephen Sondheim era. So by the end you have about 3 or 4 new songs that you haven't done before, and about a week before the intensive ended, they sat us all down and they gave us a theme. So our theme was a wedding, and we were each given a character. So I was the sister of the groom, and they assigned us one of the songs they had given to us in the weeks previous to perform at this wedding. So I was the sister of the groom, and I was given Old Maid from 110 The Shade, and so it was supposed to demonstrate my status of being a bachelorette at the party, and it was just really cool. What was really neat is that we kind of didn't know we were kind of going into this theme. We spent the first couple weeks just learning these songs. We didn't really have an idea about how it was all going to come together. Just in that one class, David and Mana were able to connect all these different songs that have no previous connection whatsoever, and was able to put them into a scenario that made sense. And as they were kind of setting up the scenes, the different directions, we were starting to see it ourselves as to what song was going to fit where and whose character was who, and it was really cool. So honestly, it was one of the coolest musical direction experiences that I've had in a really long time. Not only will we be performing every week though, you'll be writing some essays about different composers and musicals and kind of sharing your thoughts and opinions on these different subjects. Then after passing our essays, we would kind of get into a circle and kind of share about what we wrote. So that was actually really cool too, because each and every week we got to see kind of the different opinions and different ideas that each person wrote about. And it kind of opened us up to different ideas that we hadn't thought about before when we were talking about these musicals. So that was a lot of fun too. Also, I have to talk about David Gaines, the amazingly talented accompanist that we were lucky enough to work with while we were there. David was so kind, he would give you such great advice, and he was also seriously one of the most amazing accompanists I've ever seen. You could be singing a song and your music could be absolutely wrong or incomplete, and he would still play it. And at the end just mention, oh, I had already worked on this in a previous show and I had it completely memorized and I transposed to the key that you're actually singing in. Amazing! What's also included in the tuition is you actually get to go see some Broadway shows. So every Thursday we would go out and we would see a Broadway show. The first show we all got to see together was Something Rotten, which was really fun. It had a lot of musical theater references and we were all laughing and singing along by the end of it, so it was a really fun show. Second, we got to see The Visit with the Cheetah Rivera, and this is the musical that David Loud helped to arrange with Candor and Ebb, and so it's something he's been working on for a really long time. So it was really cool that he was able to share this musical that he'd been working on with us. And afterwards, he even brought us down to the theater and had a whole bunch of the actors kind of talk to us and share their thoughts and feelings about being in The Visit. And while we were there, CBS Sunday Morning was doing an interview with the John Candor, who happened to walk by and say hello to us, and we were just sitting there dumbfounded, going, "Oh, hello John Candor, how's it going?" So not only did he provide us this amazing opportunity to talk with these actors, but we also got to see John Candor. So you never know what's gonna happen. And third, we went to go see On the 20th Century with Kristen Chenoweth. It wasn't my favorite musical. The story didn't really have a lot of substance to it, but Kristen Chenoweth and a lot of the actors in it were so amazing. Just their singing, their acting, their dancing was astounding. So not only are you taking all these amazing classes with professionals in the field, but you're going out and seeing actual shows. So now that I've kind of talked about the different classes and teachers that you'll see while you're attending this intensive, I thought I could share some tips so you can make sure you get the best experience while you're there. First, bring some water. Bring a jug of water wherever you go. You're going to be singing and dancing for large amounts of the day. You'll get some small breaks in between, but you really want to make sure that your voice is lubricated and healthy. You really got to make sure that it's in the best condition. So water. Stay hydrated. Also, you might want to bring some snacks. There are going to be lunch breaks, but again, you'll be in these classes for some hours. So just kind of bring a little snack that you can munch on in case you're feeling hungry during a class. Also, make sure you have a sturdy 3-ring binder that has all the music that you will need during this intensive. You want to make sure that it's easily turnable for accompanist, with like no pages falling out or any staples that could hurt them while they're turning the pages. And you want to make sure that you just have any kind of song that you might need during your time there based on the assignments that they give you. Next, if you're leaving on campus during this intensive, you are actually going to be right next to Lincoln Center. So you are in a prime spot for some really amazing musical experiences all around you. Lincoln Center's there, the New York City Ballet is right next to you, opera, but most importantly, your best friend, the Lincoln Center Public Library. Since you are going to be doing essays and different projects during your intensive, the Lincoln Center Public Library is going to be a great asset. They have musical theater scores, they have audio recordings, they have books about different composers and musicals. You can also, as a musical theater student, sign up for a slot and then watch a recording of actual Broadway musicals that are no longer on Broadway anymore. So if you want to watch a recording of 1776, you could. And the best part, all of it is free. All you need is a library card. So your best resource for this entire intensive, literally right next door. It's absolutely amazing. Another tip, make sure you're prepared. You're going to be given a lot of songs and monologues, and it's going to seem like a lot of things are happening at the same time, but you got to make sure that you're prepared for every single class. If you're given something to be memorized, memorize it. If you need to learn a song, learn the song. You have a limited amount of time with each of these wonderful professionals, and you want to make sure you can get the best out of your experience, and part of that is the preparation that you put into it. Do yourself a favor, just work really hard and make sure you're prepared for every single class. And lastly, while you want to make sure that you're focusing a lot on the class, also try to have some fun too. Classes went from about Monday to Thursday, which left Friday, Saturday, and Sunday absolutely free. So try to finish your work on Friday, and then it gives you Saturday and Sunday to have some fun in New York. Go see some Broadway shows. There are a lot of student rush tickets that you can get, so you can see shows for pretty cheap. Some of the extra shows I got to see during my time in New York were Hedwig with Darren Criss. Oh, hello, autographs of Rebecca and Darren Criss. How are you doing? Yay! A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. I got student rush tickets for this, and I was literally 2 inches away from all the actors in the front row. I could see the sweat glistening off their beautiful faces. So student rush tickets, you can get some really great seats. I got to see Hand of God with my friend Michelle. This show still gives me nightmares, but it's very good. Another option, since this intensive takes place during the summer, another thing you can see is actually Shakespeare in the Park. These tickets are free. All you have to do is show up really early. I think tickets were handed out about noontime. I showed up about 8 and the line was already really long, so you want to make sure you get to Central Park pretty early. But if you do happen to get there in time, you can get 2 free tickets to go see Shakespeare in the Park. And so I got to see The Tempest with Jesse Tyler Ferguson and a bunch of amazing actors. You're outside in this kind of outside circular theater, and the moon is shining above you, and you can see the stars, and it's just a great experience. So I would highly suggest, if you have an opportunity, go see free Shakespeare in the Park. And while you're having fun in New York, go have fun with the people in your intensive. Get to know them. I was so lucky to befriend and work with these amazing actors and actresses that were taking this intensive with me. We were seriously like a big family. We support each other through each of our performances, gave advice, gave out sheet music if someone needed something. And I had so much fun with these guys and girls. There were times when we'd be up to about 4 a.m. in the morning talking, or going out to juniors. Juniors hates us, I'm really sorry juniors. Or just belting musical theater at the top of our lungs. And a lot of shows I went to, I actually went with a lot of my friends from the intensive. So it's kind of daunting when you go into a room and you have all these actors and actresses and you think it's going to get really competitive. But the environment they give at Fordham is just so welcoming and supportive, and it's so much fun. I am still in constant contact with a bunch of my friends in the intensive. Hi guys! So not only will you get to meet these amazing teachers and mentors of the field, but you'll also be able to befriend and get to know some of the future stars of Broadway. So really, just have fun while you're in this intensive. It's a lot of hard work, but it's totally worth it. You get college credit, and the teachers and the mentors and the students you get to work with are just so talented and kind and supportive. You will have the time of your life. It is a life-changing experience. So whether you're in college or out of college and you want to get some extra college credit, or you wanted to just have a refresher, go to the Fordham University Summer Musical Theater Intensive and have fun. Books. I'll be back in 2 hours.